Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's a lovely day. Welcome to Heritage TV, hanging out with Vicky. I first of all must apologize for the delay of us coming on air. It was due to unforeseen, circumstances. We had a technical hitch, and finally we were able to resolve it. So thank you so much for your patience. Waiting for us to come on air. Today it's going to be a ladies' affair. I've got Ama Cares. It's an organization that deals with children who are being abused and traumatized. She's here today with one of the speakers, and it's Sharida Obimdi. Before introducing my lovely guest, I'd like to say a big thank you to Victon Estates Limited, and they are one of the sponsors for this show. Without them, we'll not be able to come to you today. And they deal with all your property needs. Get in touch with Victon Estates on 0744 8619 711. The second sponsor of the show is Eagles Heights International School, and they provide mathematics extra tuition for your children. You can contact them on 020385 87812, 0208385 87812. Yes, so there you are. Amma and Sharida, you are welcome to hanging out with Vicky.
Hello, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us.
First of all, yes, and I know the reason why we got Amma Cares again on this show is by popular request. The last month we had a very informative, educative program with Amma Cares, and people were asking me when I would have Amma Cares on again. So it's by popular request that we have you guys on today. So thank you so much for making time to come on the show to make the listeners very happy. Thank you. So I'll first of all ask Amma, how has your professional journey been like? I know the focus is going to be on Sharida today, but you are here to support us, give us all the the support we need on this show. So just briefly, your professional journey.
So I think that actually goes back to Sharida, because she wanted to share a bit more about her journey as to why she's on the show today. However, one of the things that we've taken on board as an organization that advocates against child sexual abuse, we recognize that there are so many factors that can affect an individual or a child that goes through any form of abuse. And one of the key points, one of the key reasons why Sharida is on the show is that she can talk us through traumatic stress disorder, because many people go through abuse and tend to suffer that. And then because we live in a community or in a time where we don't really pay a lot of attention to loved ones and to people, we fail to recognize that somebody or this person is struggling through this. So having Sharida on today is a great opportunity for us to learn to even know how to recognize somebody who has post-traumatic stress disorder, to even know what it is as well. And in terms of the professional journey, as I mentioned the other day, we've been working very, very closely with, I'm so sorry, with Star Radio UK, speakers who come and share different topics on Star Radio UK to also educate the community what sexual abuse is, how it can affect them from it when it happens to you. And this evening or today, I will try and share a few contacts that you was and they think, you know what, I'm not confident enough to call Amakers. I'm not confident enough to even go onto their website to send an email to them. However, there are governmental organizations that they can contact that may be very, very useful to them. So I'll share some of this information as we go along. Yeah.
I think you've taken the suspense, from I wasn't going to say what we are going to talk about, but you're keeping it away. But don't
no.
That's yeah, that makes it a little more interesting. Yeah, because I know, yes, I can't just wait. Well, then to Sharida, welcome to the show.
But the thing is that, Vicky, there are a lot.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was saying that there are a lot more that we haven't even given to the people yet. So we haven't given everything out. Don't worry.
All right, thank you for that. Thank you for that. So, Sharida, thank you so much for joining us. I know you're a very busy person, but you were able to sacrifice time to join us today. Lovely. Just tell us a little, because this is my first time meeting you. If you could tell us a little bit about Sharida, who is, and your journey and how you got in touch with Amma. Because I realized when we were getting ready to come on air, there was a kind of bond between the two of you. So I'm just wondering, are you guys sisters or something? But first of all, your journey, your
Yes,
relationship
yes.
with Amma.
So
I can't
nice one.
on it. Tell us.
My name is Sharida Obemdi, and I'm a wife, I'm a mother, and I'm a music therapist. And I'm also the founder of Share Therapy Consult, and I'm currently based in the Netherlands. I used to live in the UK, but after finishing my master's, I moved to the Netherlands, and I've been here since. This was in 2015, actually. Yeah, since then I've been working. I've been working with young and old people, people with learning disabilities, brain injuries, Parkinson, dementia, but mental health disorders such as PTSD, which is what we will talk about today. And yeah, I was just on Instagram and I saw Amma Cares and the logo, and I thought, oh, that looks nice, and I clicked on it, and then I saw all the things that they were doing, and I loved it, and I decided to send Amma a message. And since then, we've been in contact, also thinking about ideas after this whole pandemic. We'll be doing a lot of work together. And yeah, we've been good friends since, actually. I really love the work that they are doing, and I can relate to a lot of the things that they're doing. And yeah, we've been very close since. Yeah.
But I hope you'll be visiting us in London very soon when everything,
Oh
the
yeah.
pandemic has died down.
Yes, definitely,
Mhm.
definitely.
All right. So now going straight to the point, what we are going to discuss today. What is
Yeah.
PTSD? How
Sorry.
do you recognize what is PTSD? I assume
PT.
someone PTSD is. So for the benefit of
Mm-hmm.
those who don't know this, tell us what PTSD is, and how do you
Yeah.
recognize PTSD?
Okay, I can share some of that today. PTSD is basically post traumatic stress disorder, and that's what it stands for. And it's a mental health disorder. It's basically a set of reactions that occurs after a traumatic event, either witnessing it or experiencing it. And there are a few symptoms that come with it. And I can mention a few because of time, because there is quite a lot to talk about when we talk about PTSD. So I will mention some of the symptoms. So you can think about reliving the traumatic event, which means having flashbacks about, so it's also almost like the whole thing that happened to you, it's happening again. You can think about panic attacks, nightmares. That is one of the symptoms. Another one is avoiding reminders of the traumatic event. So you can try to avoid hanging around with people you used to be with. You can try to avoid going into certain streets because it reminds you of what happened to you. You just want to avoid certain activities, maybe things that you used to like going to the gym, because it reminds you of what happened to you. Negative thoughts and feelings is also a symptom. Um, so you can think about feeling guilty, feelings of guilt, feeling of fear, anger, but also numbness. You might feel nothing at all. You start losing interest in the things that you used to like, and that is another symptom. You can also think about feeling wound up, constantly on the lookout. So you might go outside, but you're looking at everybody because you are worried that they might attack you or are watching you or looking at you, I mean. And you might have trouble sleeping and trouble concentrating. And those are things that are quite seriously. You know, with children that are above 6 years, they will use a lot of play to express how they actually feel. So that is something to look out for. They may also have nightmares, but children may not have nightmares only about what happened to them, but it can also be nightmares, you know, just scary dreams that have nothing to do with what happened to them. So children show these symptoms a little bit differently when they are above 6 years. So those are just, in a nutshell, the symptoms and what PTSD is.
So, like you saying, I think most of the symptoms you're spoken about is physical. Now, can I also say like things that such people with PTSD say will let you know that they have the symptoms. Something like saying, I don't want to think or talk about it, or I can't get it out of
Yeah,
my head, or I feel like losing my mind. Is it what you
yeah,
say
yeah,
as well? It's that you've got
yes.
PTSD.
Exactly. Again, it's about avoiding talking about it, which may also make it really hard for this person to get help because they may not want to go to a therapist to actually talk about how they feel because they will have to talk about what happened to them, and they don't want, a lot of them don't want to do that. But at some point we'll have to really try to get this person to get to a place where they are ready to, you know, get the help so that so that they can get better. But you're right, exactly, it's also about feelings, avoiding certain feelings as well. Maybe you don't want to think about the event, you don't want to feel anger, you're avoiding all those feelings. Yeah, that can also be a part of
Brilliant.
PTSD.
Emma, do you have something to chip in to the symptoms and how to recognize someone
Sorry, I
with? I know
don't hear you very
Sarita
clearly.
is a yes. Emma, I just wanted to ask you if you got something to chip in with what Sharida was just saying in connection to how to recognize someone with PTSD and the symptoms. Got anything to add to it?
Yeah. Um, I think take me from a lot of my personal experience. When I've been well, a survivor, I would say. Um, I clearly remember where that happened, and I wouldn't want to go there. It got to a point when
Mm.
I even see the building, I break down in tears. And a friend of mine said that, you know what, I'm going to
Wow.
help you. I'm going to help you to break that. I'm going to take you there. I'm even going to get you to start Amake's workshops there. I'm like, well, I really don't know how that's going to happen. But it's always good to have somebody you can confide in who can say, you know what, I can help you through this journey. So everything that Sharida is saying,
Yeah,
oh, I mean, it's so true because I have that personal story to attach to it. The moment I see the building, and I
mm,
can remember the name of the place, the building, and everything, I just break down in tears. So ever since I
yeah,
made up my mind, I do not even want to see the building. I do not want to go near there. I feel so good. I feel so safe. Until somebody said, do you know what? I'm actually going to take you there. You can start having Amake's programs there. And then that can take away that feeling and then that experience that you've had from there. It
yeah,
can be it can be really difficult
yeah,
because yeah, it can be difficult. That's all I can say. It can be
yeah,
difficult. And the times where you end up feeling suicidal as well,
yeah,
um,
yeah,
I'm sure Sherida at some point not to that level. Thank God I'm here. And I'm here talking with you all. So it can be quite
yeah,
difficult remembering and not even going there at all so you can feel better. Yeah.
yeah,
Also say
Okay.
that because if
Right.
somebody
Okay.
who has that, so
Sherry,
for instance, if you're going to a location,
yeah,
yes. Listen, I'm listening. Yeah.
if you let's just say I'm inviting you somewhere and I don't know your story, I don't know you've done that, and then you persistently say no, I'm gonna go there. I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel at peace with it. I think it should be my recipient to maybe not go at all or trouble a little bit. We don't tend to remind people of what they've been through in the past as
yeah.
well.
And what you're mentioning now is about triggers as well, isn't it? About the smell that you try to
Yeah,
avoid or the sound that you might hear that remind you of what happened to you. You know, it can be touch. It's all sorts of things that can be a trigger that remind you of what happened. And I'm so happy that you had someone, to help you through the whole process, because there is many of us that may not have that support, but it's very important that when you have PTSD, that you have social support around you. Yeah, so that's really nice to hear.
So how can we help someone with PTSD? Because we've got, I believe that we should think about people who are not even aware you have got it. Just imagine being in your place of employment. Definitely, you wouldn't like people to know your personal stuff. But then again, you need them to understand the way you react to things. And as compared to getting support family at home. So it's two places. One, how can such people get help outside the home and within the
I'm not really hearing you very clearly, so I'm just gonna repeat what you just said. You want me to explain how somebody can get support, or how you can support someone with PTSD, right? Is that correct? Okay. There
yes.
are so many different ways to help someone with PTSD. And first of all, it's not an easy journey, Because what I've seen a lot is that also, for example, mothers, parents of a child that has PTSD, or maybe the wife of, or the husband of this person who has PTSD is also struggling. And that's why I find it very important for this person to actually get support as well. And also try to educate yourself about PTSD, because if you don't really know what PTSD is and what are the symptoms and why is this person angry, then you're less likely to help somebody. But if you know, then it makes everything so much easier. You'll be able to understand and even help them when they are going through panic attacks. When they are struggling to breathe, you understand where it's coming from. So it's really important to educate yourself if you want to be of help. So I would say, provide social support. Be a good listener. We are so fast in giving people advice and telling them what to do, even how to feel, and but it's so important that we are listening to what they are saying, and at the same time manage our own stress, because it can be quite stressful somebody's story, 5 times, 10 times over again and again. But we have to make sure that we stay respectful and that we accept them as they are. Because if they begin to notice that they are not being accepted and that you have so much to say about that situation, they may feel that you don't understand them. And you don't want them to build another wall and stop talking about what happened to them. Because talking is very important and is a very important part of healing. It is a part of the process. So don't pressure them at the same time into talking. If they don't want to talk, they don't want to talk. We don't have to say, okay, you have to tell me now what happened. We just have to give them space if they need it. And if we want to help, also what can be important also for children, for the parents, it's important to keep a daily routine. Just keep everything going, because there is so much changing in their world already. And if things are not happening anymore, it can cause them to feel more unsafe, and we want them to feel safe. So it's important that we keep doing what we did before. So take them to the sport club. That can even help encourage them to keep doing the sports that they were doing, to have social contacts. If you always took them out on a Monday to have dinner, just do that again. Keep it up. Don't stop anything. Don't change anything. It's important for them to have a routine. You can also rebuild trust and safety. You can that's a very important thing to do, to keep your word. Say you're going to be there at 4 o'clock, make sure you are there. Because if they can't trust you with your word, then they will not trust you with their feelings. Another way to help is help them to manage triggers. Like Amma shared before, she was talking about how, she was seeing a certain building and she began to think back about what happened to her. Certain feelings came up. You can help that person that is suffering from PTSD to help manage the triggers. And I mean, if this person was having a flashback and everything came back and this person begins to cry, I would suggest to ask them what to do. Like, for example, do you want me to hold you? Do you want me to sit next to you? Don't take action immediately, but ask first. Because what happens as well is that this person is having a flashback and might be very scared. And if you then touch them without telling them, they may begin to panic and the whole thing might go out of hand. And that's why I always suggest talk to the person. Hey, you want me to sit next to you? What want me to do? And a good thing is when the person is not having a panic attack, is you can talk to them. What if you have a panic attack? What would you like me to do? Just talk so that you are prepared. Um, yeah, there's so many ways to help manage them deal with anger. Is also an important one. People with PTSD struggle to manage emotions and impulses, and this can manifest in moodiness, explosive rage, as well as extreme irritation. And if we want to help, we need to understand that people with PTSD live in a constant state of physical and emotional stress. And you can imagine not being able to sleep, properly, and how, if you haven't slept properly for a week, for example, it makes you feel very tired, and maybe you get irritated quickly, and maybe even angry. So people with PTSD have this all the time, and that is something to really be aware of, so that you can understand why this person is responding the way they are doing. Yeah.
Shamida, my major concern before I want to ask, is this a lifelong condition? Can you have it till old age?
You can
Is it
actually,
curable?
there is people that have complex PTSD. So that is CPTSD. I just have to think about it. Complex post traumatic stress disorder. And these are people who've had to go through various traumas in life. And they may need a longer time to get over traumas. But um, PTSD can go away. It's not something that you should think, oh, I'm gonna have this the rest of my life, because you will just put extra stress on yourself. You can overcome this, and there is help available. And I would say the longer you wait, the harder it may get. But if you notice these symptoms also in your child, if you notice differences, take action immediately. Take out, take your husband, whoever it may be, to the GP, and let's get help. There are so many different ways of help out there. If you don't like to talk, maybe music therapy, arts therapy, dance therapy. There is so many different things available. So yeah, I would not say it's
Shamida,
something that stays the rest of your life.
the reason why I asked whether it's lifelong is because I'm a bit concerned with someone with PTSD, working in an organization. See, how do you make your colleagues around you understand you? Because probably you might not do things the same way as others are doing. Now, it's very sensitive in the sense that if I was in that situation, I wouldn't want people to target me or start calling me names that I've got a condition at the workplace. But then again, I want to be treated differently so that I'll be more comfortable working in that organization. How do we go about this? I know your first point of contact should be your manager, but how can I go about it? How would I be confident to seek help at
Yeah,
my workplace?
yeah, yeah. That's a very good question, because yes, there are actually people who have PTSD and still have to go to work. But I would really say this: if you have symptoms that are there are levels of the symptoms, right? Some might have mild symptoms, but another person may get really angry at work and maybe get very aggressive, and that is not a good thing, because we should not put ourselves in danger or other people. And if it comes to that stage, it's really important to talk with the manager and see how you can make the situation safe. Because if you are making other people unsafe, it's really time to take action, and it's really time to do something about it. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And what I also wanted to say, because Amma mentioned also about suicidal people with PTSD being suicidal, and that is something that happens as well. And it's very important that if somebody listening right now who is suicidal, to take action immediately, which means call a friend, tell them, call your pastor, call the GP, make an appointment, and get help immediately. But if you are a friend, maybe, or a family member, and somebody has attempted to take their life, it's important to call the emergency line immediately. Also, if you see that someone with PTSD is starting to get really angry and things are getting unsafe, don't take too much risk and call the emergency line so that you can get help, the right help, immediately. Because what you don't want is that things are going really out, somebody's getting hurt, or the person is hurting themselves. Always stay with the person. If it's safe, stay with the person, and get help. Yeah. So that's what you were saying about work. If it's unsafe, then action needs to be taken immediately. Yeah.
On that note, I would like to take a little break for us to have an advert of Amakers and what they do, whilst we just, have a little sip of water before we continue. So stay tuned. We'll be right back in a minute.
So when we say Amakers, speak out. There's not energy in that. Come on. There's about 30 of you here. Amakers, speak out. Amakers, speak out. Amakers, speak out. Lastly, Amakers, speak out.
My name's Lorraine. During the time of lockdown, we recognise that young people among us could be vulnerable and subject to abuse. This is why Amacares, an organisation that advocates against child sexual abuse, is here to assist the vulnerable amongst us. We have lined up an exciting and educative programmes that can be of help to you. Please check out our website on www.amacares.org for updates of programme. Enjoy a live chat with our team members for advice. Our online counsellors are also available to advise you and signpost you to the right governmental departments. You can reach us on 033 01 33 2415 or email us at info@amacares.org. Confidentiality is key. Thank you.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So that was Amakers and what they do. We are on today's show talking about what PTSD is and the symptoms and how we could help it. Who is for PTSD? As the Amakers, sorry, Amakers is an organization. And I've got Amma Bacho here and Shamida Bimdi as well. So welcome back, ladies.
Thank you.
Someone was asking me during the break. Is PTSD more prevalent in men or women? My guess will be women. Am I right?
That is a good one.
Yeah,
PT sorry?
and then can I ask Amma to chip in? Then you will, tell us what your impression is on the statistics. Amma, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Okay, so I wouldn't say that it's I wouldn't say that it's a symptom that it's commonly in men. And I wouldn't say that it's commonly found in women as well. It can be found in anyone, being a child, an adult, or yeah, a child and adult, based on that traumatic experience that you've gone through. So it's I think to answer to that question, it's something that can happen to anyone, children especially. Remember, because sometimes we tend to not pay attention to the children, and that is where our heart goes out for, and that is what we are here for. I mean, because sometimes when the child is behaving like that, we think, oh, the child is misbehaving, or the child is being something else. But it is time for us, the parent, to sit down with that child and want to probe a bit more into it. So children could
Yeah.
even be one of the biggest, percentage that could go through that. Sadly enough, if the child is not treated as a child, he or she grows up into an adult carrying the same thing.
Okay. All right. So Sharida, what do you say to this?
I completely agree with what Amma just shared. PTSD is something that can happen to anyone, and there is not more women or more men or more children who can go through traumatic event. This can happen to anyone. And like Amma shared as well, I can give an example. I was working with a young boy. He was 8 years old, and he was sexually abused by his uncle. And he also saw how his own father, had set another man on fire. And this was very, very, very traumatizing for this young boy, 8 years old. He came into the therapy room and he wanted to be in charge of all the musical instruments because I am a music therapist. I use music to help people with learning disabilities and goes on mental health disorders and so on. This boy came in to the room and was telling me what instrument to play. He was telling me where to sit, what to do, and he has the same behavior when he is outside of the therapy room. And people thought he was rude and he was very greedy because he always wanted to play with all the toys. He didn't share nothing. He wanted to be in control. But the reason why he was like that was because that he was out of control when he was at home. So he wanted to have the control when he was out there. And I started to use a lot of play with him because younger children tend to use a lot of play to express how they feel. And we just began to, do play, role play. That's how they say it in the UK, role play. And I just pretended to be him. And he was telling me how I had to respond, how I had to behave. He said, Jimmy doesn't cry. Jimmy is a big boy. Jimmy has to listen. So he had this way of showing us what was really going on inside of him. And it was really nice to be able to see him talk about what was going on inside of him through play. And it was really beautiful to see how things started to change for him. Like I was saying before, he was playing on all the instruments, and after a few sessions he began to learn to stay on one instrument maybe 5 minutes and move on to the next. And that is what he took back into the classroom. He wasn't all over the place anymore. He was able to sit down a bit longer and do his work a bit longer. And this is how I've been able to help people through music therapy, and that is very nice thing. And like Amma said, children are often seen as, oh, they're just being naughty, or he's just rude, but often there is something behind the behavior.
So in that case, I think, do we have to give more attention to children who has
PTSD, more focus to be on children with PTSD.
Yes, I think especially as parents, you see your children every day. I have children myself. I have three children. But if I suddenly see a certain behavior, I I have to take the responsibility to check to see what is going on. And I wouldn't say, oh, if your child is throwing toys, he has PTSD. It doesn't work like that. It often has more symptoms. But if it is a behavior that this child was never doing, and all of a sudden he locks himself or she locks himself in the room, doesn't want to talk, doesn't want to go to sport club anymore, you need to start asking questions. Why is this? What's going on? Is the child crying a lot? Is he emotional, angry, fearful? How is he when you take him out? Does he even want to go out? Those are things that you can look at and take seriously, and don't just think, oh, it's nothing. It might be nothing, but let's be sure.
Oh,
And if you're not sure, and if you don't know
yeah.
how to if you think, oh, I'm not sure, you can always go to the GP, explain what you see, and they will know where to refer you to. You don't have to stay with all these questions by yourself. If you think, oh, maybe, I need to do a little bit more, your GP will know where to. And also Amma, Amma Karis is here, right here. You can connect with her, go on her website, and you can ask questions there, and also see if there are other ways that they can help you.
What I'm more intrigued, right, with the music therapy. Now, with the music therapy, how long should one do the, see you for music therapy to resolve this problem? Is it
Hmm.
for a
Maybe I understand your question, but it might be a good idea to explain what music therapy is, because not a lot of people know what it is, and
so
maybe they
take us,
think you just have to, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I'll
let's say
yeah.
I've
So
come to
like
you. Ye- Yeah,
yeah.
so take us through the process.
Okay, so first of all, not many know what music therapy is, but it's a form of psychotherapy, and it falls under the umbrella of the arts therapies. And music is used to improve and maintain physical, psychological, and social beings of individuals. And music therapy involves listening to music, it involves improvisation, singing, and playing on various instruments. And you don't actually need to be a musician to have music therapy, because some people think, oh, I can't sing or I can't play an instrument, so it's not for me. But it doesn't work like that, because music is actually universal, and everybody can understand the language of music, right? So it's for everybody, any culture, any language, any background, age. So that is what music therapy is. And then your next question, you can never say how long someone needs a session, how many sessions someone needs, sorry, because every situation is so unique. I mean, I've been working with children as well who may just needed 5 or 6 sessions and they were okay, but also children who may need it like 15, 20, maybe a whole year. You just never know, because body is so different. And maybe while you are working with this person, you will realize that there are many more things that you actually need to work on. And then you can help the person through those as well. So they're yeah, very different for everybody.
And I've got one viewer asking, what type of music do you usually use for this therapy? Is it, you know, um, is it, the person who is coming for the music therapy, is it what they like to listen to, or there's a particular kind of music that helps people with this condition? And if you is asking.
Like I said before, music therapy involves listening to music, improvisation, playing instruments, and singing. So it might be, for example, this young boy I mentioned before that I was working with, he was 8 years old and he liked a lot of loud. I wouldn't really give it a genre, but he just liked to bang on the drum, and that was, he loved it. Only he was allowed to go on it. And yeah, you won't really say, oh, that is rock music, but it's just what was inside of him. The anger, the frustration came out playing on the instrument. So I wouldn't say, oh, if you have PTSD, you should only listen to classical music or you should only listen to soul. It is personal again, because one person might come in and maybe that classical music he was listening to now reminds him of the traumatic event. And you still want to use music, so you need to look for other ways, which can be maybe you just want them to improvise, you know? Just sit behind the piano and just play anything. And you will notice that how this person is playing the instrument, you can get a lot out of that and understand a lot about what is going on inside of this person.
Have you got anything to add to what Sharida has just said?
I think when it comes to the musical therapy, because that's Sherida's field, and that's what she is. Well, that's her strength, I would say. I think that she's explained it very well to our viewers and to ourselves. But like she's saying, in my case, a lot of gospel songs,
Mm.
literally, I'll leave it on and look myself into it. I literally use that because the whole thing happened. When it happened, you it was difficult to speak to people about it or talk to somebody about it because this is crazy. So
Yeah.
during that time, so anytime any anger fills my heart, I want to do something, or maybe I'm turning my anger onto someone. I mean,
Mm.
unnecessarily. I tend to remember some of the songs that I've listened to, and that kind of
Mm.
calms me down. So it's
Yeah.
definitely, and it's like she's saying, it could be anything. It could be going like this small young boy you're talking about, who likes to play the
Yeah.
drum very loudly. For all you could know, that's probably the anger in him that he's using to play the drum. So it could be
Yeah.
anything that works for everyone. And I would say,
Yeah.
let's not restrict ourselves, and let's not restrict the
Yeah.
children as well. So let's try different things with them. Yeah, let's try different music with them. Let's try different activities with them as well, to help them get better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. I've got another viewer who sent this. He says his wife is always depressed. Is it a form of PTSD?
Sorry, I didn't really get that. His wife is always depressed and
Depressed, yes. Handsome, depressed. Is it a form of PTSD?
a form of PTSD. PTSD is something that occurs after a traumatic event, and some people actually go over it, get over it maybe after the symptoms after a few weeks, and they manage well. But if it stays longer and if it gets worse, then you really have to start going to the GP and get help. But if somebody is depressed, there can be so many other reasons. Did something happen to the person? Sorry? Oh,
Yeah, I'm
I thought you were
listening.
saying something.
Uh,
Did something traumatic happen? Did the person have to go through a traumatic event? Because then you can start thinking about PTSD. But if this person is depressed, maybe doesn't want to go to work, is sad, there can be other reasons, and it's important as well to find out what that is. So I would suggest, if this person is always depressed and has been carrying on for a long time, seek help, get help. Because there is a lot of help available, and we don't have to feel depressed all the time and feel sad all the time. We can actually get help and overcome this.
Okay. And I've got another question coming. This is from a lady. She's asking whether having a bad experience during childbirth be another form of PTSD, meaning that would discourage her from getting pregnant again because of the trauma she went through during childbirth. Can that be, you
Is
know,
this question for me? Sorry. Is this
any
my
of you?
question?
It's for any of you, either or you.
You
It's
just
it's
you
for
just
both of
threw it
us,
out
but
there.
Sharida, you should go for it.
Okay, we'll
Okay.
go with Sharida.
So because hearing you clearly, I'm just gonna repeat the question just to make sure that I heard what you said, okay? So you had a question from a lady who is afraid to get PTSD after birth? Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh wow, that is it is not really something that you really should be worrying about. You know, about getting PTSD or anything bad happening to you. Let's stay positive. Let's focus on the positive things. I mean, I have to actually say that when I was I personally had PTSD twice in my life. The first time was years ago, and the second time was after I gave birth to my son. And the reason why I ended up with PTSD is because he was born very early, and very early, about 2.5 months. And it was a very difficult process, and it was really hard as well because I was going through it, but I wasn't processing at the moment, because at that moment it's like you're living in a dream, right? That's like a really bad nightmare. You just keep going and going. But when I was home, that's when I started to process, and that's when I realized it was really, really hard on me, and I couldn't sleep anymore and all those kind of things. And that's what happened to me, after giving birth. But this should not let any woman think that, oh, that's going to happen to me. Let's stay positive, and let's focus on the positives. There are women that get postnatal stress. I don't know if I actually translated properly now, but it's like a postnatal stress is what women get even before, sometimes before giving birth, and then maybe after giving birth, because maybe they cries a lot, or those kind of things can happen to women. It can happen, but that doesn't mean it will happen. And I always say, you know don't start thinking about things that could happen, but focus on the positive things. Yeah, I hope that is clear.
yeah, yeah. I think that answers her questions. Um, right. So, I think we've really touched every aspect of this topic. We've really done justice to this topic. What are your last words for our viewers? This goes to Sharida.
Anybody looking right now, listening right now, um, if you recognize any of these symptoms, I would really suggest to get help. And it might be really hard for you to get help. You don't have to call. If you don't want to call the GP, maybe you can write a letter. Maybe you can talk to a friend or family member who can come with you to the GP so that you can get help. I would also say connect with Ama Cares. If it's a younger child, I would really advise any person, any parent out there to get help, because there's a lot of help available, and your child doesn't have to go through this for a very long time. It can actually be solved, and that's what I would. Yeah, those are my last words. I really enjoyed being here. Actually, it was really nice with you two ladies. Yeah, so thank you.
We will have back since you've really enjoyed this interview. We might have you back again with the permission of Amma.
Yeah. Awesome. I would love to.
Yeah, so Amma, what have you got to say your last words with this topic, what we've treated
So
today?
for my last word, I think when I started, I did mention that we'll share a few, not really contact, but organizations that can help people that have been abused, or
Yeah.
anybody who has witnessed any form of abuse, or um, anyone who has also seen it. Organization is called Child Line. We just give these ones out there. We know these are the Childline. You can go to childline.org.uk. If you are 19 years, you can give them a call. And then the victim support is that if you've witnessed anyone who's actually been abused, or anyone who's been abused, and you've seen anything, please help this victim out there by going to www.victimsupport.org.uk. The phone numbers are on the website. You can also go to Youth Access, which is one part that we would love to hopefully work with them one day. Youth Access is for children that are from the age of 12 years up until 23 years old. For a 12 year to 25-year-old, you can just go to www.youtheaccess.org.uk, get their contact number there, and try to help these victims, or the victim can also give them a call. And if you are under 25 years old, so anyone that is under 25 years, you can go to The Mix. It mix with MIX. It's www.themix.org.uk. If you know you've been abused, you've been sexually abused, you can contact these organizations to help you. Or you can also contact AmaCares on www.amacares.org.uk. We have our counselors who will be willing to speak to you, help you, and remember that everything that we do is confidential. Or you can even call us on 03301 332415, 03301 332415, or contact us via our social media platforms as well. And then we will be able to assist you. If you also need to contact Sharida based on the music therapies, music therapy that she's talked about, we can also liaise you to her. But I'll leave her to maybe give a few contacts out so that any of our viewers can also contact her. Yeah, but I hope that's with the organizations that we've mentioned, because it would.
Details, anybody watching us who would like to contact you regarding the music therapy?
Yes, of course. You can always ask any questions if you have any questions after today as well. So it doesn't necessarily only have to be about music therapy, but if you have any other questions about mental health, you can contact me. I am actually on Instagram, I am on LinkedIn, and I'm also on Facebook. And you can type in share therapy consult, and also my full name, Sharida Obimdi, Sherida, and then Obimdi, Obimdi. And yeah, let's connect. Let's connect on social media.
Yeah. It's rather unfortunate those who are eligible to, come and see you for the music therapy, but I don't have PTSD. I would have loved to have that experience so that I'll come and share how it feels like.
You don't have to have PT to have music therapy. You are welcome. I'm with you.
Oh, really? Oh, that's no. Yes, so ladies and gentlemen, time is fast spent and we've come to the end of the program. I thank you so much for staying with us through this program, even though there was a technical hitch with the delay at the start of the show. We thank you so much. We appreciate adore you. Please feel free to contact Amaka on the contact details that she gave us or on their website www.amaka.org.uk. And also, if you want to get more information on PTSD and music therapy, you can contact Sharida on all her social media handles. So that is it for today. I hope you've really enjoyed. If you still have any questions, please send us those questions. And I believe that because people are so keen and interested to, hear what Amacare does and, all the necessary um, projects they have ongoing, we'll definitely be having them on from time to time, and we assure you of that. If you also want to support our care, is they run these organizations by themselves and they need support. So if you want to support Amacare .org.uk, please get in touch with them and support them. I encourage organizations, to get in touch with them, partner with them, and support them with this great organization that they have. It's going to help a lot of people, especially children. So please get in touch with Amacares and support them either financially, whichever way that you can. And it's going to go a long way. So thank you very much, Amake and Sharida, and we hope to see you again next week. Before I leave, I would also like to leave this with you. Make sure you observe the government guidelines on COVID-19 by always having your nose mask on when you are out and about. Wash your hands thoroughly and also use your sanitizer. We want you to stay safe and alive. If you also want to contact Heritage TV to cover your events, please get in touch with us on all the social media handles, and we'll be very happy to, speak to you about our very special packages that we have. Heritage TV is a very big media house, and if we come and cover your events, definitely your event is going to be a very special one with a kind of touch. So yeah, thank you very much. And I hope you take good care of yourself. Stay blessed and we love you. Bye.
Heritage TV. Everybody in London, have you heard that Heritage Television has come up with something new? All your functions and celebrations can now be multi-camera live stream that was only reserved for the rich and famous. Having a function in London can be viewed clean and clear immediately from any part of the world. Trust Heritage TV to give you a better reach. Heritage Television also does photography that will make you the envy of all your friends and family. Heritage Television is the best. All your functions like birthdays, funerals, weddings, church anniversaries or harvest. Heritage Television is the master. We are in the heart of London with an ultra-modern equipped studio. You can call us on 020-800-46100 or email us info@heritagetv.co.uk or mobile 0734 1234 560. Heritage Television will do you proud.